Hi, it's Suzanne here, and it's been several months since I've shared a sketchbook page turner tour, but I felt ready to do that this morning. And as you can see, this sketchbook took me quite a few months to fill rather than my typical one full book a month. And yet still, there's value in keeping a sketchbook, regardless of whether it's every day or as needed. Back in May, I accepted the challenge to be in a group art show, and so the first few pages of this sketchbook ended up being my concept sketches before I made the final painting. That final painting just found its forever home last week. The title of that show was Wind, Waves, and Wings. And so I was just looking at how I can incorporate that, but also my concept of a kite border out on the waves. And here I was just sitting in a deli thinking about how much it might be enjoyable to do new signs for them, but really that's not my full-time job. Sometimes I just go off on tangents as an artist. And then now looks like I'm going back to some of my more usual. This is some life drawing I did, different types of pens, different motion of the person that was being drawn. And one afternoon I went to the library to just draw who was there in the library. And sometimes I just draw from a book. This was drawing from outside, probably, the fact that there's mushrooms. I'm not sure. The pansy wasn't in the same place as the mushroom. Maybe it was different hikes. I'm not sure. I'm working on a very large series of paintings right now called Shh, Say Nothing. And there's a lot of eyes in these series because I'm doing portraits. So it behooves me to practice eyeballs or things that look like eyeballs. This is a parrot eye. Just to add interest to my ongoing painting series. Sometimes I sit down to draw and then find nothing to draw and end up writing notes. On this day, I was at a Sunday market, drawing the people that I saw walking around in the market. It's funny how when you look back through a sketchbook, even though it was months ago, when I see the images, I immediately recognize the people. I can almost remember what color her clothes were. I can remember the vibe of the day and the enjoyment I had being at that Sunday market. And here was just a quiet, pensive moment, picking up a very, very tiny piece of nature and studying it from different angles. And again, Sunday market, and instead of the people, this time I was drawing that building. And some more life drawing. And then, just as expected out of Suzanne Gibbs art, I go back to my whimsical creatures. Which these, you never know where I started or what it came from. I might have been looking at, gosh, I don't even know with this one, I can't remember. Maybe a pattern in a carpet or something, and then it just evolved out into the creature, this character. And it looks like here I was just looking at the idea of character faces. I think it's funny that I drew one running away from all the others. My own work makes me laugh. That's kind of funny. That's the way it is. And if you've been watching my page turner sketchbook videos, you'll know that sometimes when I'm on the phone, I just do doodles. So where was I here? Probably on the phone. Should I be dating my pages? Probably, but in this particular sketchbook I didn't. Oh my gosh, I'm not sure why I decided to draw a mousetrap. Oh, I think it was because right here, it actually looks like a little face or a little human with the eyes, the arms, and the legs. Phone doodle. I use a lot of patterns in my paintings, and so sometimes I practice the patterns or some ideas of patterns in my sketchbooks. And oftentimes these patterns are picked up from catalogs or magazines that are laying around my house. And again, possibly a phone doodle where I started the pattern and then I ended up on the phone. Sometimes people look at my figures and they tell me that I can't see perspective, or I'm not good at drawing, or I've flattened things too much. Honestly, you can have your opinion. That's absolutely fine. But when I'm drawing in this way where I don't erase and I'm not using pencil, I just go directly onto the page, and something like this happens where the woman lost her hand. I just think it's saying something else beyond just what I saw when I was watching that person sit. And so I let it be. Being true to whatever vision needs to come through my drawing is important to me. Legs, boot, and rock. Elephant legs and a shoe. Totally unsure why those landed on the same page. But again, you can see that I am not using any pencil, no erasure. These are just straight drawings with an ink pen. I use a Uniball pen. You'll have noticed a few pages back that I use different colors. Here I picked up a different pen and I immediately didn't like it because of the way the pen soaks into the paper. My absolute favorite really is the Uniball pen. So here it looks like a flower is growing out of a putting green. Who knows? I just put together images that interest me. There's no way that that shoe would ever stay on that foot. There's no straps to keep the heel in, but whatever. And again, picking up patterns from the catalog. This looks like a phone doodle. If you've seen my paintings, you'll have seen a lot of grids, again, practiced in the sketchbook in order to be repurposed onto paintings. I think even though there's very few lines there, that captures fabric, and that's interesting to me. Here I was drawing an actual handbag, and for some reason the handbag started to look like a nose to me and the zipper looked like a mouth, and so I just went with it and the handbag became a face. A little inside look at how my brain looks there. Phone doodle. I'm constantly wanting to capture faces and people and characters and what different patterns can be on them. This one would make a lovely painting, I think. You never know. There's a lot of cows that live here in where I live, and so I guess I captured one day. I don't remember doing it, but I did. On this day, I was just sitting on the deck, and this is, in essence, one of my dog's toys, but then it's been elaborated on using my freeform doodle Suzanne brain techniques. Again, my new painting series has a lot of textures and patterns in it, so I have these rocks as texture patterns, and also quite a few of the paintings have ladders, and so it behooves me to practice my ladders in my sketchbook before I go to paint. And are you ready? Phone doodle! And we'll call that finished. Thank you very much for your time in exploring how the sketchbook informs my creative practice. And I hope that you have a creative practice that keeps you engaged in your own work. Namaste.